Welcome back to my channel, guys. Today we are storytelling about a Division I sophomore who flew out to Arizona to work with me for 3 weeks straight during his winter break, and we got him to increase his exit velocity by 7 miles an hour in just 3 weeks. How we did it is what we're going to dive into. His name is Bob. Bob flew out here. We've been working with him remotely for the last 2 months fully, and he wanted to get some in-person work done to really dive into some details before the spring season came up. Of course, I obliged, excited to working with him, and there were some things that we saw in person that were very similar to the remote work. But I felt like his commitment of wanting to be here and the connection that we got changed the way that we communicated hitting. And it ultimately led to the result of going from 98 miles an hour max EV to a 105.5 off of a fastball machine before he left. Unbelievable transformation. When he hopped on that flight back to school, he felt like a new man. He felt like he was ready to go bang, and he's ready to go have a big spring season. So that's what we did. What I want to show you guys, though, is kind of how we did it. So the big problem that we were trying to solve is that when this hitter was firing, he was constantly stuck back behind him and never able to actually transfer that weight from back to forward to deliver his true power potential through this baseball. Bigger kid, about 6'1", 205, 210 pounds. He had more power than he was showing in the cage, and he couldn't figure out why he wasn't able to deliver it in practice or the game. So the two things that we had to figure out was how do we get this load in the backside into the front side to ultimately transfer and fire through the baseball. That was objective number one. Objective number two was how do we get more length with his swing after contact so they're not just delivering power to contact, we're delivering power through contact. So two things that I'll give you insight on. He is naturally a guy that just starts his swing with no stride to fire. So trying to find some rhythm with the load was our first objective. So the way that we did that was pressure points. We used a guy like Shohei Ohtani. I mean, he's already in that position. He really keeps that front toe down and loads back around that back hip. So using some of the cues and video to find similarities within this hitter helped us understand how we can achieve the goals that we were both trying to accomplish. So what we did was increase his focus on the ball of his left foot when he started to fire. So now there was some absorption in that front leg instead of being stuck on this back leg and just spinning back behind the baseball. That was number one. Number two was isolating this bottom hand a little bit to hold angles better as he started his fire. This arm really loved to lock out, which was unloading power away from his body, disconnecting him, and really forcing the rotation and barrel acceleration to go up and away from the strike zone. Zero adjustability and off-speed pitches because if we're a little bit fooled and early, guess where our barrel's going? Out of the strike zone. So isolating those two moves early, giving him some drills and some cues and feels to be able to multiply with reps allowed us to then challenge that with some velocity, spin, angles throughout the course of that 3-week window. When I look at video now before and after, and I will share this with you one day, the before and after was tremendous for me. The limited eye movement that I saw, because when he was stuck back behind and he would fire, the eyes were actually going away from contact. So it was a move like this. Whereas now he can get a little bit of absorption in that front leg, and when he decides to release, it is whew, eyes are in front of the strike zone before and after contact, which now improved his ability to adjust to off-speed pitches. So when I was throwing overhand to him and throwing mixed pitches to him where he didn't know what was coming, he had the adjustability of, if I catch a fastball a little deep, cool, I can go to right field. You throw me spin, cool, I can catch it out front and do damage to both sides of the field. The consistency of barrels living between 96 and 101 miles an hour exit velocity off a machine, and then showing the ability to bump a 102, 103, and then ultimately a 105.5, both of our jaws dropped when we saw that number because that's a big boy number. So everyone's process to obtain more power, it might be a little bit different. The ultimate challenge is, though, is how do we not just do that off of front toss or BP? How do we get those moves and those feels to translate to a game-like setting? You got to challenge it with velocity, you got to challenge it with angles, and you got to find someone that can mix speeds with you and really challenge your ability to hold positions and adjust to zones and different speeds, because your timing is the most important thing as a hitter. Got to control the time. If you guys want more information like this and more feedback from hitters that I'm working with, subscribe, like, and then comment down below with any questions you have, and I'll see you next time.